The United States destroyed Iran's navy, dismantled its air defenses, and killed its senior leadership. And it is still losing this war. The American military fields stealth aircraft Iran cannot detect and cruise missiles Iran cannot intercept. It has spent more than $1 trillion building the most technologically advanced fighting force in human history. And yet it is trapped, not by a superior enemy, but by a body of water 54 kilometers wide that no bomb in the world can destroy. Because geography is not a target, you cannot kill it. In 1991, Iran watched Operation Desert Storm from across the border. Coalition aircraft flew more than 100,000 sorties in 42 days. Iraq's army ceased to exist as a functional force. Iran's leadership drew a single conclusion: direct confrontation with America is unwinnable. Then came 2003. Baghdad fell in 3 weeks. Iran watched again, but this time they saw what the headlines missed: the insurgency, the years of grinding attrition, the slow hemorrhaging of American will. Time is a weapon. Endurance is a weapon. Geography, chosen correctly, is the most powerful weapon of all. That is when Iran made its decision. One choke point, one strait, 54 kilometers of water, through which 1/5 of the entire world's oil and liquefied natural gas supply travels every single day. The Strait of Hormuz is not open ocean. Its navigable shipping lanes are so narrow, there is room for only 2 of them. Iran's mountainous coastline rises directly above them. For decades, Iran filled that coastline with caves, tunnels, hardened bunkers, and drone launch sites. The Shahed 136 drone carries an operational range of 1,500 kilometers. Iran held approximately 50,000 of them before this war began. It does not need a ship. It only needs to create fear. The Trump administration entered this war believing the regime would collapse before it could act on its geographic advantage. However, the regime did not collapse. It absorbed the strikes it endured, and then it closed Hormuz. Iran does not need to physically block the strait to close it. It only needs to attack merchant shipping often enough to make insurers refuse coverage and captains refuse transit. The strait closes itself, without a single Iranian warship still afloat. The International Energy Agency declared the largest oil supply shock ever recorded. Oil climbed from $60 per barrel to nearly $100. European natural gas prices rose more than 70%. Qatar's Ras Laffan facility sustained damage equivalent to 3% of total global LNG supply. The International Energy Agency declared the largest oil supply shock ever recorded. Oil climbed from $60 per barrel to nearly $100. Heirs will take between 3 and 5 years. Before the war, Khamenei was 86 and in failing health. There was a quiet possibility that his natural death might open a path toward a more pragmatic successor. The Americans and Israelis killed him with a missile strike. When Franz Ferdinand was assassinated in 1914, Austria-Hungary expected Serbian capitulation. Instead, it got the First World War. Eliminating a leader under fire does not break a regime. It consolidates it around vengeance. Mojtaba Khamenei, harder than his father, with deep roots in the IRGC, now leads a government that lost his father, his mother, his wife, and his son to American and Israeli strikes. This man is not searching for a faith-saving exit. America now holds 3 options. None of them are good. Negotiate and accept Iranian terms. Do nothing and watch oil climb toward $140 per barrel, sufficient to trigger a global recession before midterm elections. Or escalate into a ground invasion requiring over 1 million soldiers, comparable to Vietnam. That path leads directly to the return of the draft. The limited options solve nothing. Iran can fire drones from hundreds of kilometers inside its own territory. Seizing its coastline does not remove that capability. Meanwhile, the US burned through 11,000 munitions in 16 days, including 850 Tomahawk missiles, representing a quarter of America's pre-war stockpile. The Gerald R. Ford has been deployed for more than 280 days. The weapons are being consumed. The hulls are being worn. Iran's position requires only one thing: endurance. If the regime survives long enough for the economic pressure of Hormuz to become politically unbearable in Washington, it wins without winning a single aerial engagement. The most powerful military in the world chose to fight where its power is least decisive. Geography, patiently defended, outlasts air power every time. If you want to understand how this pattern has repeated across modern history, subscribe to the channel. The story of how patient geography defeated overwhelming force is older and more instructive than most people realize. Hormuz is not closing because Iran is strong. It is closing because America chose the wrong battlefield.